Employers of Reddit, what jobs are you finding to be impossible to fill? The company I work for is emerging employees. We caption phone calls for people who have lost their hearing. It requires 2 weeks of training. Honestly, it should be 3. And it's a skill that doesn't come easy, but nearly everyone is capable of picking it up. We sit in cubicles and don't interact with anyone. Just listen and caption. They'll take basically anyone over 18. It was a good job when I started a few years ago. The times between calls were enough to study or browse the internet. The pay was pretty fair. Now the idle times have fallen dramatically and the pay hasn't changed at all. Meanwhile, similar call center jobs are paying more just to read from a script. People quickly get burnt out and quit. The department in charge of scheduling is a mess. It's mismanaged to heck, and the employees there are even more overworked than the captioners. Interactions with them can be shady as heck, and they are known to go back on their word about time off and schedule changes. They did an employee moral survey just yesterday and I tore them apart. My sister worked here too for over a year and quit today after being very honest in her own survey. As a night shift employee, my pay is higher and my workload is less, so I'm still doing okay here and I actually like my job. But the day shift is a joke and they'll have to change real quick if they want to continue. As it is, they completely deserve to be struggling like this. One big problem, and I see it echoed in this thread, is that employers don't want to train. Companies just don't want to invest in their workers anymore. They only want to hire experienced workers. They don't want to apprentice, and if they do, they don't want to pay for it. They expect colleges to do all of this for them. What I've found is that college can't fulfill this role even though colleges sell themselves as if they can. College can only teach you basic hard and maybe some soft skills that can maybe get one's foot in the door. If employers want good employees that will stick around, employers need to be willing to train and pay employees well even in training, and not dole out crazy or unrealistic workloads or an otherwise toxic environment. Training will make them good, specific to your industry and company, and the pay and positive work environment will help them stay. That's a big one. I've seen companies turned good people away because they lacked some skill they could pick up in 3 weeks. The expectation, especially for those 30 plus, is that they have to be experts in all the tools the company uses. The company I work for has been trying to fill a dispatcher position for over a year and a half now. Part-time, evening shift. They're not offering competitive pay, and everyone is suffering for it. Trying to get someone for $1 over minimum wage for a job that should start a good $5.07 per hour more is painful to watch. They are either incompetent or realize really quickly what the job entails and book it out of here. The strip mall down the street from my work is having trouble hiring security guards who don't sell drugs. I would like to be a security guard. Great, but you can't sell drugs. Frick that noise. People to work in nursing homes. PT, OT, kitchen, nursing. Big portion is nursing staff. I don't know if it's just the company that's having issues. 2 of our facilities are having staffing issues, but we are constantly understaffed and getting overworked to the point where more people are leaving because they are overworked. Management keeps saying no one is applying, but I don't think they're offering people enough to want to work there. Construction manager here. The demand for construction is here, but the workers left during the recession and don't want to come back to repeat history. I'm in this boat. Worked for 12 years as a carpenter. Loved it. Work fell off in 2009. Held on as long as I could. Lost my business and house. Gained 2 kids. Went back to school in 2011 to support the fam. Now I work in IT. No way I'm giving up this salary and benefits. I miss construction so badly, though. Despite what employers will say, all jobs are fillable if you pay enough money. There was a CEO a few years ago who wrote complaining that they could not hire welders, and turns out they were offering $20 HR. I'm a believer that in this globalized world with massive availability of education, there is no such thing as a shortage of workers. It's just that the pay isn't enough for the job conditions. Sometimes wage expectations go up, and businesses need to deal with that or they won't be able to operate. My valet company is having an incredibly hard time filling supervisor positions at locations that are slow and you don't do anything for 12 hours, 15 per HR. Though part of the reason why it's hard is because they want these people to be educated. People get educated so they don't have to work as a valet super for $15 HR. EMTs and paramedics. I've been in the position to hire them and can't get anyone, and I know exactly why. Hours. Standard week for EMS is 6,100 hours. Many EMTs and medics work 24+ hour shifts. Pay is crap. I have over a decade of experience. I have ACLS, PALS, PHTLS, ITLS, ATLS, and about a ton more, and I can hardly score more than 15 per hour here. Injury. The work is backbreaking. Lifting people that are 500 plus and the 90-pound cot is a great way to get to hernia. And that 500 pounds person you had to drag out of a bathroom. Psychological issues are very common. The list goes on. No surprise people avoid EMS like the plague. Anyone want to be a school bus driver? Good. Do you have a valid CDL? Any DUIs? Criminal record? Oh okay, never mind. Literally anyone please. Production line worker. No education needed. Not dangerous. Can listen to music while you work 9-5 MTWTHF. $15 an hour starting. They call them unicorns for a reason, but people with both programming and design skills. They're rare and few between, but it's pretty much an instant hire if you have both. They really help bridge the gap between dev design teams and are almost always in demand. People laughed when I double majored in computer science and fine art, but it's opened a lot of doors. Not an employer, but my hospital has a hard time finding nursing assistants. Who knew it would be hard to find people willing to wipe asses for not much pay? I just looked up wages for a CNA. It's worse than a minimum wage job that also requires college education in some instances. That is a beyond absurd job prospect. At my hotel. Housekeeping. No one wants to clean up after the nastiest animals on the planet. Plenty of hours and reliable work to be had, but no one wants to do it. They should be paid more, I guess. Or people could just be less disgusting. Base level security officer. You need a clean record, to be over 18, and a get high school diploma or to be in high school. Paying more than minimum wage for a job that requires less work than most minimum wage jobs. Based on the job ads I've seen, I think they're having a little trouble filling the entry level 3-5 years experience jobs. No, I'm not just playing off the meme. These postings were the bane of my existence when I was job hunting. Jobs that pay like crap surprisingly don't have lots of people applying for them. Truck drivers. Most of the people on the road are in their 50s-60s. They are starting to retire or die. It's even hard to find contract drivers to help on busy delivery days. It's mainly because the hours are long, the trips are long, and it's a pretty dangerous job. Young people see that and avoid it. In NZ we have a huge shortage of competent, qualified carpenters and heavy truck drivers. Funny that it's the older types of trades. It's like they've fallen out of fashion. I've noticed that restaurants have a tough time getting servers and cooks, and the food is getting bad at mid-range restaurants and customer service is horrible. Employer here. Simple solution to finding people to fill jobs is to pay better. I do pay better, and amazingly I have no trouble getting people to work. Turn people away. That said, the work ranges from extremely simple to needing a solid 6-8 weeks of intensive training. Teaching jobs. At my school, we've had multiple teachers quit throughout the year and could never replace them, so we just replaced the class. One of our foreign language teachers quit, so they just forced all the students to take French instead, with every class having at least 35 students. I just looked a few minutes ago, and we still have 10 plus positions open for the next school year, which starts in 3 weeks. Programmers for industrial environment. It's incredibly hard finding PLCs and robotics programmers that want to get their hands dirty working with bigger, complex industrial machinery. It seems counterintuitive, but the problem is most kids just want to do desk programming or handheld electronics, apps for phones or tablets, Windows or Mac, working on PCs or the like, drones, toys, etc. I'm not saying pure software programming isn't satisfying, but seeing machines moving that weigh 10 tons and are the size of rooms because of something you programmed is unbeatable. Freaking hiring a front desk rep at a hotel. I interviewed for a couple of those, one of which was for a night auditor. What irritates the crap out of me is that I was hired, but then got called the next day and corporate didn't like that I had no accounting experience and rescinded the job offer. I was p. Nurses. Huge supply and demand problem here in the UK. I've also heard there's a huge shortage of teachers in the UK, too. I'm not an employer, but I work in the ag industry, mostly in packing facilities as an inspector. They never have enough labor. They are always hiring no matter who you are. They don't drug test and it's dang near impossible to get fired unless you freak up really bad. Like getting in a physical confrontation with a supervisor bad. And even then the same people will be back next year. I worked in a vegetable cannery for 2 summers. If you don't mind monotony and being alone with your thoughts for 8 hours, it's pretty nice work with reliable hours. You meet quite a colorful group of characters doing factory work. The only person I know who got fired stole a 50-pound bucket of strawberries and was told to never come back. Decent writers. I have a content marketing business and finding a writer who actually knows how to write for digital and print and to various audiences is dang near impossible. Yeah, tell most of these jobs you're a felon and watch them glaze over. Doesn't matter how back on track your life is. Sometimes doesn't matter how long it's been. I'm employed by a small business simply because nobody else wanted me. The upside? My employer has me on his side through and through. There's something to be said for a guy that hears me out, doesn't judge, and offers me a job. Does it pay the best? Number. However, it pays enough to help me keep building my life. It's flexible, and doesn't demand the friggin' universe out of me while paying jack crap. Looking at you. Food service. You want good candidates? Sometimes. Just maybe. Good people have skeletons. I do bar and restaurant consultation and I am amazed at how underqualified the majority of bartenders I interview are. It's not a thing that many people think is hard, but to do it well it actually is. Basic knowledge of cocktails is an absolute requirement, but I can't tell you how many people have no idea what goes in an old-fashioned. Less so that whisk. Why is a category, not an alternative to Maker's Mark. If you can't find someone to fill a position, it means the job is crap, the working conditions are crap, the hours are crap, the pay is crap, the system is crap, you are crap. It's a warning sign when you find that company X is putting out recruitment ads every month to compensate for the ones that left. 10+ years a headhunter here. If the job pays less than $15 an hour, it will be hard to find talent that will accept at that pay rate and not have red flags like large unexplained gaps in employment, major spelling errors on resumes applications, or even cursing in the interview with me. Seriously, not appropriate for any industry. Once you can pay about $35k plus, the talent pool starts to open up significantly, and you can start seeing more stable work history, good communication skills, and brick and mortar college degrees. My former landlady works in HR for a recruiting firm. She found, on multiple occasions, that she had to hire people whose interviews were train wrecks and had huge red flags, large gaps in work history, talking like 6-10-year-olds, as well as one that had a major problem with a former employer, all because they were fluently bilingual in English and French. These were mainly call center type jobs, sales development type things, not the funnest work, but if you speak French and you need a job, you can find one in Southern Ontario. Not an employer, but accountants, more specifically CPAs. Sure, there's a lot of us, but the companies I've worked for all have trouble filling open positions. Most use recruiters, who charge a month of the position salary if the person gets hired. Basically it's a case of demand being much higher than supply. That's probably why my accounting graduating class had a 99% job placement before graduation. Not an employer, but I know my former job has had a hard time trying to hire a replacement after I quit nearly 5 months ago. I was a retail restocker, but that position eventually required that I work 2 early shipment receiving shifts, compile the store's weekly shipment order, and translate on a regular basis. It doesn't help at all that this position was more or less the lowest paying position at the store I used to work at. Trying to find another college graduate that was willing to do all of that for low pay is dang near impossible. I need someone with the wisdom of a 50-year-old, the experience of a 40-year-old, the drive of a 30-year-old and the pay scale of a 20-year-old. Also, 25 years experience for an entry-level position. That will require 17 obscure certificates, a security clearance that we will not sponsor, and a lie detector test. Also, you must cover the lie detector test fee. Tenors who can sight read and sing in tune for paid positions in professional vocal ensembles. Jobs are only unfillable at the ridiculously low wages being offered. Offer more, get more applicants. That's how capitalism works. Haven't seen web developers, programmers, software engineers yet. Lots of good coders out there, but open seats want client facing, full stack, MVC, Angular, Sitaffinity, MongoDB, Swift, and a glittery unicorn. 5,000 years experience in each. The place I work can't fricking retain good employees because they work us to death. I make over $50K a year in construction, and these buttholes work us to the bone. They've been in business, it's a franchise, for over 30 years, and I think they have 3 people that have been there longer than 5 years. In the 2 years I've worked there, they've gone through dang near 10 or 12 people on my side of the job, and probably 6 people in the office. My buddy is putting in his 2 weeks tomorrow. I freaking hate it there. I've reached the point where I just don't want to do crap for this company, because it's all take on their end. Anyways, construction, they train, still can't retain employees. Government cybersecurity jobs. They want to hire hackers but not if they ever smoked pot. They want to hire highly paid professionals but pay them crap with crap benefits. I think the FBI also makes them travel for months of unrelated training and pass physical fitness tests. The USAF just finished training 130 or so airmen for roles in cybersecurity, then retained 0 of them in that role. I don't think they quit. They took other assignments that paid more or had better futures. I was offered a civilian job in that role there, but they offered me $12,000, $15,000 less than I was currently making as a contractor for the USAF and 2 weeks less vacation. When I tried negotiating, they refused to move even 1 penny and said if I turned it down they would give the job to the next person. So I said number. Then they came back again and said I better take the job or I would be blackballed from any other job at Kelly Lockland AFB. They also tried to say the huge cut in vacation wasn't bad because they got a day off every time a former president dies and then made a list of living presidents and their age. I kept the list because I knew nobody would believe this story, and this is the abridged version of the insanity I saw when applying there. I said no again. Shortly after that, the contracting company that was employing me at Kelly Lockland was apparently told to let me go, so I was fired on my day off. A year later I learned that position was still open. There was nobody in line behind me who wanted the job, and I was the 3rd person in a row to turn it down because of the low salary. Basic retail person for a specialty chocolate shop. I am just baffled at how hard it is to get someone for this job. We pay more than most retail jobs in the area. It's the easiest retail job I've ever worked. Customers are 90% nice because who gets bitchy about chocolate? We'll teach you everything. You get to dip things in chocolate and make fudge and take home mistakes. We give you free chocolate. I can't even get people in to interview. Out of 20 calls I made last week been trying to hire since March, 5 were wrong number out of order, 10 were voicemails that never called back, and 5 were interviews that just never showed up. It's been months of this. What the frick? You've been visited by the good sleep getter. Upvote within the next 3 seconds and you will be blessed with cozy and restful sleeps. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.